Welcome to unofficialaciguide.com. I'm Jody. Today we're going to look at segmentation in ACI, taking multiple endpoint groups and tying them to one bridge domain. Let's take a look.
All right, now we're going to look at different types of segmentation with ACI. What type of options do you have? The first one we're going to look at is the most common, and that is really when you start looking at customers that have deployed application-centric ACI, what that means is they're generally associating multiple endpoint groups to a single BD and building out their application. So what we have here is a very simple construct of that. We have two different EPGs, Net 103 EPG, Net 104 EPG. Both of these endpoint groups are tied to the same subnet, the same bridge domain, and that's Net 103 BD. So every host in both of those EPGs has the same subnet. They share that 192.168.103 address space, but by default, when we start out, the contract that you're seeing up there is not going to be present. So if there's no contract between EPGs, there's no communication. So to simulate our host, we've got spirant traffic generators on the left and the right, and the traffic's going left to right, right to left. And we'll see that traffic is failing, then we'll go in and we'll add contracts to allow the communication to occur, and then we'll talk through the configuration options. So Luis, if you don't mind, would you can we go look at the spirant traffic generation? Can you walk us through what we're seeing there?
Sure, good morning. Here we go, let's go to the traffic generator. And notice, Jody, we send in traffic between Palmer and Wolf. As you see, we send in 10,000 packets, but we're not receiving anything. There's no.
Okay, so the RX sig rate, that's at 0. That tells us we're dropping all that traffic.
Exactly. There's no traffic going.
Okay.
We just send it.
Okay.
We're not receiving.
All right. Well, let's go fix that. Let's go get some communication going between these guys.
Sure. So to begin with, let's go to the policy. I mean, this is EPG 103 and this is EPG 104. So first thing I'm going to show guys is the core policy in general, and you see we are in the same BD. Different EPG, same BD. That's 103 with BD 103 and EPG 104 with the same BD too as well.
Yeah, and one other thing that I'll point out quickly is the flooded encapsulation right there in the middle of the screen. If you could put the arrow on that, Louis, that is enabled. By default, flooded encapsulation is disabled. Let me tell you what this is doing. So by default, if we have multiple EPGs or even one EPG attached to a bridge domain, where does flooding happen? Flooding happens at the bridge domain level in ACI. The only exception by default is spanning tree BPDs, which are always flooded at the encap level. By selecting flood and encap, what we're doing is we're saying any broadcast, any unknown unicast, any multicast, that traffic has to be constrained to the encapsulation or the EPG. Okay, so we're not flooding at the BD level for these EPGs. So if you remember contracts, those are unicast constructs. A contract in ACI will permit or deny traffic at a unicast level. If I had these two EPGs and they have contracts between them, that's just enforcing unicast traffic. If there were ARP traffic, if there was other broadcast traffic, and I didn't have this flooded encapsulation, all that broadcast traffic will be flooded and seen by host in each of the respective EPGs, which generally is not a desirable thing. When you think about having external connections in ACI to the external world, if you had HSRP that was mixed between VLANs or spanning tree protocol that was mixed between VLANs and flooded, that would be very undesirable. That could lead to very bad things. So the flooded encapsulation allows us to have multiple endpoint groups tied to the same flooding domain, the same bridge domain, and we can limit the flooding to just the encapsulation.
Perfect. So let's check the other EPGs just to confirm we have the same config. 103 policy, and we have the same one. Also, as you mentioned, Jody, it have to happen also in the BD level. So we're gonna go to 103 BD, and here we have it, floating encapsulation, as you said. So let's start the communication between the two EPGs. So we're gonna go contracts, add a contract, add a provider contract. We're gonna do permit anything. Go to the EPG. We're gonna consume contract. Let's see what happens.
All right.
Here we have.
See if Spirant looks happier.
Yep.
Hey, looky there. We're getting traffic.
We're getting traffic, sir.
All right. So with just the click of a button, Luis has allowed our traffic to go from EPG to EPG and back and forth. So there you go. That is using multiple EPGs and attach them to the same BD. Thanks, Luis.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for watching the video today. If you'd like more ACI how-tos, design guides, and best practices, check us out on the web at unofficialaciguide.com or on YouTube.